He's still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein Administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released.
Happy President's Day.
President, it is. I saw an interesting fact. Can I hit you with an interesting President's Day fact?
Sure.
John Tyler was our 10th president, and he was
Okay.
born during Washington's term, his only term. His grandson just died last May. So 3 generations of Tylers lasted 47 presidents. I just thought that was neat. John Tyler had a kid when he was 60, and then his kid had a kid when he was in his 70s. That kid just died last May at the age of 96.
Lasted 37 presidents?
47. Because John Tyler was born during Washington's presidency.
Oh, okay.
So that just 3 generations, father, son, grandson, lasted all 47 presidents. I thought that was neat. He just died last May, so
Oh, that is
yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to wish all our previous presidents, besides a handful of them, a happy President's Day.
There's several of them I wouldn't want to wish anything good to.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to point out, thank you to whatever, I don't remember the name, but there was a commenter that mentioned that I had my flag incorrectly displayed behind me. I give Trump a hard time all the time for the way he talks about the flag code and then totally disrespects it all the time. Somebody
Are you
pointed
allowed
out,
to hug the flag? Because remember
I
that
don't think
video
you're
where-
supposed to. But
Oh,
also,
okay.
you're not supposed to make hats and shirts and all kinds of stuff out of the flag. And I
Yeah.
give him a hard time about that. It turns out my flag has been incorrectly displayed. I had the stars on the right side. They should have been on the left, so I fixed it now. Thank you to that commenter. Also, I have very good news, okay? I
Ooh.
checked the stock market just a second ago. Have you seen the stock market today?
It wasn't running today.
Okay, so the stock market right now is sitting at 49,500. So it is
Okay.
not at 50,000. You know what that means?
Oh, Pam Bondi lied on Earth. Lied under Earth.
No, it means we can talk about the Epstein files. According to our current DOJ, if the stock market is above 50,000, we can't talk about the Epstein files. Because I don't know if you've heard, but the stock market was above 50,000.
Okay,
But
proceed.
it's back-
Proceed, my friend.
Dude, it's back below 50,000, so we can talk about Epstein tonight. It's a good deal.
I like it.
Yeah. Before we do that, though, I did have one thing that I wouldn't have pulled it if it wasn't you, but I wanted to get your take on this because people on the internet were making a big deal out of this. I have a video for you that I'm not going to set up at all. Check this out.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
So everybody
Wait.
jumped on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said there's no underground bunker. I'm pretty sure that whole facility is underground.
Well, not even that part, though. How quickly he said, oh, aliens are real. Like, he didn't give that a hesitation. He said, I can't remember the exact question, but it was about aliens. And Obama immediately said, oh, aliens are real. We just don't have any of them in an underground bunker, was basically his answer. So everybody jumped all over that. And it was basically like, oh, my God, a former president just confirmed aliens are real. And that was a story for like Saturday and Sunday. People in certain corners of Twitter community were going nuts about this. I figured you might have been one of those people. It seems like you might not have seen it.
I had not seen that. No.
It got so much attention that Obama had a tweet today, and he said, because that was Brian Tyler Cohen, and he does a thing in his interviews where it's like lightning round. He's hitting him with questions quick, no follow up. That's one of those where Brian Tyler Cohen should have followed up there and been like, hold on, wait, you just said aliens are real. Please explain. What Obama ended up tweeting today is he said, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten so much attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are that there's life out there. But the distance between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens are low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really, with an exclamation point. So, and that's exactly where I lie. You're not super into UFOs and all that. We've got one buddy that lives in Colorado that is convinced that they're looking at us all the time from the sky.
Yeah, I think so.
My stance is like you'd be a fool to look at the universe and think that there's not life out there. Like that's just it. Anybody that says we're the only life, I don't buy that. But like to get to the closest next solar system, you would have to travel for 4 years at the speed of light. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think I don't think anybody out there in the universe has figured that out yet. Might get proven wrong one time, but like, is there life out there? Yes. Are they flying to Earth back and forth between Earth and their home planet? No, I don't believe that at all. But
I think they're already living here.
I knew you would. I
Yeah,
appreciate that about you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are they
They're living
living like
amongst us.
is it-
Obama's probably an alien.
he's covering it up? So, and my other thing, I've always said, if we had proof of aliens, if like we had an alien spaceship or Trump couldn't wait to tell us. Trump would tell us instantly. He doesn't do a good job of secrets. Also, you know how many times that would have come in handy to change the subject? Different times where he's under fire for one thing or another and he could pull the alien card out of his pocket. Like he could do it easily. So that's where I'm at is there is life out there. We don't have spaceships or alien bodies.
Have you ever been to Roswell, New Mexico?
I've driven through it and they have alien statues everywhere. Yeah, I don't buy it.
Hmm. What's interesting is there was that was in 1947. Photos taken at the Army show personnel include intelligence, da da da. Anyway, I went to the UFO museum in Roswell when I was
Okay.
there, and it was fascinating. They had like articles that showed, and I don't know
Yeah.
if they were probably drawings. It's been a while, so I don't really remember, but I remember like going, "Oh, like this is real." They're showing these articles. Well, they could have been fake articles too.
Well, and it could have been articles where people were. So that area of the country during World War II and then right after World War II, that's where we were testing all of our top secret crap, including the. It's crazy to think that we were setting off nuclear bombs in like New Mexico and Arizona for a while. Like we did it for like almost 10 years. We were just
They're
blowing
going
up
to start
nukes in
doing it again.
not in mainland America. They're going to start doing it in islands out in the Pacific, I believe.
That's still horrible. Stop
Okay, but
jetting off nukes anywhere in the world. Like, we don't need nuclear tragedies anywhere in the world.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is those articles, like, there's a good chance that they saw something they'd never seen before flying in the sky, and people wrote articles about it. Turned out it was probably U.S. aircraft that were experimental or whatever. I don't know. I'm not buying the whole an alien crash landed at Roswell and we're holding their bodies anywhere. Again, if it wasn't for Trump, I would be more open to it. But if we had an alien body somewhere, Trump would have told us by now. He would have declassified that immediately.
I don't know. I mean, what if, let's just say that we do have aliens, but if we say something to the American people, people will start freaking out, asking questions. Then they have to spew everything they know. And what if they don't know, or they're living amongst us, and maybe it's a thing where it's like, you talk about this and you're gone. Remember JFK? He was going to talk about
Yeah.
it. We
Hold on, wait, JFK was going to talk about aliens?
are, yeah,
No.
maybe.
No,
That's why he
you're
got
making
murked.
that up. So,
Yes, I'm making that. Yes, I'm
yeah.
actually making that up. But
Yeah, you're making
what
that up.
if
Here's the
they're
thing.
like, remember JFK? Don't talk about aliens.
Remember like the 14-day period between January 6th and when Trump left office in his first term?
Hmm.
He was pouting, and at that point, he would have declassified everything, and he wouldn't have given a shit how it affected the American people or his safety. He would have just done it. He's not, and they've asked him directly. Like Joe Rogan asked him on his podcast about aliens, and like
Yeah.
Trump's not that good a liar. Like his answer was very believable to me, and the answer seems to be because even Obama went on to say like there's videos of stuff that we don't know what it is. Like, could it be aliens? Maybe, but like we don't have evidence, and I think that's where I think our government is truly very confused about like the Tic Tac video and all those videos you see. I don't
Yeah.
think they have a clue. I think they're just as curious as we are.
Yeah, and there's some speculation that could be China. But the one thing that's kind of really interesting is that like the ships out to sea, have seen spacecraft or whatever come out of the ocean and fly into the air.
So
Which
not ships out to sea. It was a pilot. It was Lieutenant David Fravor or whatever. That was part of the Tic Tac video. That's
No,
what you're
no, no.
talking about.
There's other ones where there's multiple accounts where they've seen crafts come out of the ocean and into the air.
Okay. The government released all their UFO files, and that was not a part of those files. So you might have seen that on the internet somewhere, and somebody might be claiming that, but that was never a part of those files. I read through all that because I was curious to see what we had, and we didn't have anything like that.
I'm looking this up because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I didn't dream that.
Did you read the UFO files or did you see something on Instagram?
Navy reports have noticed unidentified objects appearing near oceans and outperforming technology. Subsurface oceans. NASA is exploring. Uh, da, da, da. All right, maybe I dreamt it.
Or you saw it on Instagram, which is very likely, and it's not true. That's the most likely scenario here. So they released that a couple years ago, and I read through all that because I was very curious. What do we really know? And that's about it. So
Who's gonna save us, Andy?
from the aliens?
No,
Nobody.
not from the aliens. Who's gonna save us from ourselves?
Oh, the aliens might save us from Trump. I don't know.
No, you know who is?
Who?
The monks.
What's going on with the monks? You
The
said something about the monks.
monks are gonna save us all.
Okay.
I don't want to cue this up. Just go to video monk walk.
This was the culmination of everything. Walking to the nation's capital. For the last 107 days, people of all ages, faiths, and religions have been supporting the monks and their dog Aloka on this cross-country 2,300-mile journey. The group started in late October in Fort Worth, Texas. Local police departments have been escorting them. More than 33 million people have logged into the live map to follow the monks' journey. Early this morning, we met Alyssa, who
Okay, so they're cheating. They said they're walking across the country, but they started in Fort Worth. That's halfway. They're not walking across the country. They're walking halfway across the country. Are they marching to Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, they've already arrived.
Me and you used to live 15 minutes from Fort Worth, Texas.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see a monk in the DFW area? Why did they?
I went to a monastery. Yeah, I went to a monastery and
There was one in that area?
yeah.
Okay, I was going to say,
Yeah,
I can't figure out why did the monks pick Fort Worth as a starting point? That doesn't seem to fit.
Well, no, that's where they're from. That's where the monastery is.
Okay, I was
They came
unaware
from
my whole
Fort
life.
Worth, and they decide they're going to walk for peace to Washington.
I'll bet it's not going to work. I just have a theory that it's not going to create peace.
Not if the Christians can,
I agree.
stop it.
I agree.
All right, I got another video.
Turn to Christ. He's the only way. You don't love him, you don't have Jesus. If you don't have Christ, it is. It's about Jesus. He's the only way. Is he the only way, the only truth, and the only life? It does matter. Your soul is on the line. Right? Your soul is on the line.
We all walk and we are not talking about anything.
Your soul, you are. When you do your chant, your little ritual, you're spreading it. And if your peace is not rooted in Christ, then it's false peace. And I love you enough to tell you that. If I didn't say anything, it'd be like you were in a burning house and I didn't say anything.
I got your message already.
I love you, and I'm going to be here every step of the way.
I'm telling you, I love you. And
I love you.
I wish you well and happy.
I want you to walk.
And I understand your message.
I want you to walk.
And we have our own journey. You have your own journey. So let us walk on each. Let us walk on each our own path. But at the end, we always come together.
No, yes. Have no fellowship with the untruthful.
Can you please let him walk?
Or rather expose him. He's talking about me. I'm not here to hate on you. I love you. I truly do. But I know right now you're walking your way to hell, but you don't realize it.
It's okay.
Of course, Christians would show up to protest the monks. Aren't the monks like the most peaceful? Like they don't harm a fly. Like I don't know. Is monk and Buddhist the same thing? I'm probably mixing up multiple religions here, but like monks are generally
there are Buddhist monks. I think there's other religions that have monks too, but yeah, I think Buddhist monks are probably the most popular ones.
Are amongst the people that have like taken a vow of like no violence, no this, no that. Like isn't that a monk?
Yeah.
Okay, so of course somebody's showing up to protest them. Awesome. Like
of course he's gonna try and argue with a monk about how he's going to hell.
Real quick, speaking of Christianity, I didn't pull anything on this. We'll have this for next time. But part of the Epstein emails that have been coming out is Epstein and Bannon and a couple other people were like conspiring to overthrow the Pope. Have you seen all this?
No.
They're mad because like every other branch of like Christianity in America has fallen under Donald Trump's leadership. You know, they all do whatever he says, and Catholics are the one that still like the Pope criticizes Trump, and the Catholics kind of listen to the Pope more than Trump, and they don't like that. So during the time that we elected the last Pope Leo, Bannon and Epstein were like talking about like, oh, the worst case scenario would be if this, I can't remember his real name, but if he gets it, that'd be the worst case scenario. And they were basically trying to formulate a plan to like infiltrate the Catholic Church and like get a more Trump-friendly pope, one that'll say to do whatever Trump says. And what's interesting is like they did this whole song and dance, and then there was like a list of a whole lot of MAGA conservatives that converted to Catholicism, like during that time period, J.D. Vance being one of them. Erica Kirk, I think. I don't quote me on that, but I think Erica Kirk was one of them as well. So
Do you
anyhow,
think JD killed the last pope?
I mean, he was with him 2 days before, like a day before he died.
I'm pretty convinced.
Allegedly, we
Right.
should say, yeah.
Right.
But,
Allegedly, I'm pretty convinced. Like,
yeah.
he was the last one to go visit him. Pretty sure.
After meeting JD, the Pope was just like, nope, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm out of here. So
So maybe it actually worked. Maybe were they talking about Leo or this one, the last one?
Both of them. They were talking about the last one, and they were saying when the last one eventually dies, they were pointing out like who good replacements would be in their eyes and who the bad ones would be. And the one they got elected, Leo, was the one that they were like, as long as it's not him. Like what was the last one was Francis or what was something like that? I can't remember. Yeah, they were saying that Leo would make Francis seem conservative because Leo was
they're both woke,
super woke. Yeah, so
I mean, I'm pretty sure Jesus was woke.
If Jesus was here today, he would be called a libtard. That's kind of where we're at. So anyhow, so real quick, stock market is under 50,000. We get to talk about Epstein. I don't have a lot for this. That was the first little bit is Epstein was conspiring to overthrow the Pope, which is just interesting. On top of that, the Sunday morning shows. I always get excited about the Sunday morning shows to see who they're going to trot out there. The White House didn't seem to want to put anybody from the DOJ on any of the Sunday morning shows. They were not wanting to. They're hoping the Epstein stuff goes away now. They've said repeatedly for the past couple of days that that's it. We're not giving you any more. We're done. And they want this story to go away. So they sent out Tom Homan on a couple different shows to talk about like ICE and DHS. I didn't pull any clips from that. It wasn't that newsworthy. But just because the White House didn't send out people to the Sunday shows, don't worry, they still talked about Epstein. Thomas Massey was on a couple of shows. I do have one clip of him here from ABC, and I want to play it for you because he kind of coined a new phrase that has been suddenly used in the past 2 days. Watch this video real quick.
And just very quickly, if you will, you've supported most of what Donald Trump has done during his presidency. But because of your actions with these files, he is supporting your primary opponent and has waged very personal attacks on you. I know we just have a few seconds here, but just your reaction to that.
Look, this is about the Epstein class, the people who are funding the attacks against me. They may or may not be implicated in these files, but they were certainly rubbing shoulders with the people who are in these files. They're billionaires who are friends with these people, and that's what I'm up against in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump told us that even though, he had dinner with these kinds of people in New York City and West Palm Beach, that he would be transparent, but he's not. He's still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein Administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released.
Epstein class, huh?
So the Epstein class, and this is the Epstein Administration. That's caught on, and surprisingly, it's caught on with like a segment of the right that is very upset about this whole Epstein stuff. Like they think Trump betrayed them, and I've seen that a lot online. And again, Twitter is not real life, so let's be clear about that. But the Epstein class, I think Democrats need to take that as soon as they possibly can and start using that as well. Trump is a part of the Epstein class. The billionaires that were all having dinners and private parties with Jeffrey Epstein, use that as much as you can.
I like it. Yes.
Yeah. So good job. I don't know if Massey was the first person to say that, but since he said it Sunday morning, it's been around a lot. So
that's he coined a good term. I like it.
Hopefully, yeah. And then real quick, the other thing, remember how we said last time that even though our DOJ isn't going to investigate anything, it seems like at this point they want it to go away. Several European countries are like saying that they're going to be doing their own investigations, so we could learn a little bit out of that. France is not effing around. I saw this tweet today and I looked it up and it appears this is real. It says, breaking, French police raid multiple locations in Jeffrey Epstein criminal probe, including an Arab World Institute. Apparently they raided up to 10 places today to get all the documents, get all the hard drives, whatever, people that were communicating with Epstein. Everybody, seems like most everybody in France that was part of the Epstein files got raided today. So we might come up with more documents. We'll have to see. And who knows how long this will take. But the fact that France did it this quick is pretty amazing. So
I like it. Who's the new president of France?
I don't think they've had the election yet, but it's clear to everybody that it's not going to be Macron anymore. So I
thought it was a girl. I thought it was a woman.
There is a girl that's run for president several times. Her name is Le Pen. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah, she's like a right-wing person, and I think they're thinking she's going to win, but I don't think she's won yet. I think it's still Macron as of right now.
They don't have an interim or anything?
I don't think they've had their election yet.
That was a while ago. Seems like that was a year ago. Okay.
I don't think the election has happened yet. So yeah. Anyhow, and then only one more thing real quick on Europe. The Munich Security Conference was happening for the past week. There were a lot of clips that were kind of worthy of pulling, but there's too much other stuff going on, so I didn't pull them. There's one real funny one. This girl, and I'm going to say her name wrong. Her name is Kaja, Kaja. How would you say that? Kaja?
Yeah.
So Kaja Kallas. She is she's the VP of the European Commission. She's from Estonia. You know how JD Vance went over there last year and just berated all them for trampling on people's freedoms and this and that.
Yeah.
And then you've seen what our current administration is doing to like free speech and freedom of the press and all that. So they kept JD at home this year because he ruffled everybody's feathers wrong. And they sent Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio kind of had the same message that JD had, the message Trump would want them to say, but he said it in a more polite way. Some people are saying that what he was saying was so terrible and, colonial, all kinds of stuff. And then there are Republicans that are like, yes, like this is the message that basically put Rubio out everywhere. Rubio did a way better job than Vance. Have him be the messenger now. People are even saying now like Rubio's the front runner for 2028 because of how good he did in Munich. But he did one of his things.
He could never win.
He did one of those things where he was berating Europe for like their lack of freedom. Because there's this weird thing where Americans think that like we're the only free country in the world and we're the most free country in the world.
Right.
And we're not. We rank like lower than most of the European countries when it comes to like measurability on freedom. Yeah. She was at a little, I think it was a little like round table type discussion. Here's her comment. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Coming from a country that is number 2 in the press freedom index, hearing criticism regarding press freedom coming from a country that is 58 on this list, it's interesting.
We're 58 in the press freedom.
Yeah, and Estonia is number 2, and I like how she, being a country that's number 2 and hearing all this smack talk from number 58. Interesting. Interesting. That's almost like a bless your heart. Like bless his heart.
Yeah.
So I just thought the way she delivered that was real smooth. I'm a fan of hers. I don't know anything else about her. So.
Oh my gosh.
Good on
We're
her.
58. That's horrible.
In press freedoms.
Yeah, that's our First Amendment.
Yeah, freedom of the press.
Number 1 fucking First Amendment. Freedom of the press. So if we're 58, number 58 around the world in press freedoms, and that's our First Amendment.
Yes.
What are we in everything else?
This might shock you, but when it comes to freedom of religion, we don't rank that high. Freedom of speech, we also don't rank that high. We're actually higher in freedom of speech than we are in freedom of the press. It was like 17th or 18th or something like that, somewhere in that range.
We should be number 1. It's our First Amendment.
Yeah, that's a trick that we all tell ourselves is that like, yeah, we're free. All those other countries, they don't know about freedom. No, like it's a lie. It's great marketing that America has done where we've convinced all of our people that we're the only free country out there. And it's so the other way around.
Will Estonia allow Americans to move there?
I hope so, dude. So me and you both play some disc golf and I followed like pro disc golf for a while. Uh-huh. All I'm going to say is the girls, the pro female disc golfers from Estonia,
okay,
they're all like 9s and above. So I would go to Estonia.
Estonia, okay,
yeah. So anyhow,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know where Estonia is.
So Estonia is one of the Baltic countries. Russia sits here, and then Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia those are the 3 that if Putin ever decides to attack a NATO country, it'll be those 3. He'll go for all 3 of those at once, and he could probably take them over in a day. They're very small. They don't have big armies. They joined NATO in the past 15 years or so. I mean, 2009, somewhere like I could be way off on that. But that's the way he's targeted it. He's like, okay, I'm going to make NATO pick. Like, do you really want to do a world war over these 3 countries? And we'll see what happens with that. We got other World War III talk later when it comes to Iran, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That if it's gonna pop off, it's gonna be because of that. But we'll save that for a minute. The only other thing I want to get right off the bat is polling. I think we've talked about polling the last couple shows, but there's constantly new polling. I have your favorite pollster from CNN ready to give you some good news. Check it out.
Happy Washington's birthday observed today. That's what it is in the state of New York. I'm a New Yorker through and through. Let's take a look at another president, though. President Donald John Trump. Look at this. I got 4 numbers across for you on this screen here. They are all second-term lows for the given pollster. What are we talking about? AP New York, 26 points below water. NBC, 22 points below water. Yahoo YouGov, 20 points below water. Quinnipiac, 19 points below water. So we're ranging from negative 19 points all the way to negative 26 points. You know, Kate, there's this question that folks keep asking, where is the floor for Donald Trump? And I'm not sure there is a floor, because if there is one, Donald Trump, at least in term number 2, has just fallen through it to another low level.
How does this?
So he's pretty much, and Harry Anton just said he's through his floor. I would disagree. I love Harry Anton, but I think he's on the floor right now. Like, the floor has always been like 35, 36%. That's kind of where there's no way he goes below that, is what a lot of people have said. And he is sitting right there right now. Like, one poll had him at 34% approval. It's one of those where I need to see more polling before I can happily say he's under 35. But even the most shocking thing, Quantis, which Quantis is I think they're an A-rated pollster, but they're not one of the big ones. But they had a poll came out today. With white voters, Trump only has a 44% approval rating. Like, he dominates the white vote still, and he only a 44% on white voting Republicans. So that's crazy.
Interesting.
The people aren't liking what's going on, and for good reason. Like, things aren't going well. All the things, like, what were Trump's biggest campaign promises? No new wars. Bring down the cost of everything. Gonna lower our taxes, which he did that for the rich.
We're gonna be rich. We're all gonna be rich.
Everybody's gonna be rich. Well, I can't remember what his other big ones were, but it was all stuff that he has not even really tried to do yet. Like, as far as the economy, you can really make an argument that every policy he's done has been to, like, negatively affect the middle class at the very least. So
yeah. I think I pulled a screenshot from a little bit later in that clip, and it is from the. It shows from February 2018, he was at negative 17 points. This is at this point in his administration, and now he's at negative 27 points at this point.
Which he wasn't doing good in the first administration after year 1. Like, year 1 was chaotic. It didn't go well. He's doing even worse now. So it's phenomenal.
And that's Quinnipiac. That's his favorite poll, right?
No, he likes Rasmussen.
That's right. Okay.
So Quinnipiac is, though, they're one of the most trusted polls. Like, New York Times, Siena, and Quinnipiac, Washington Post are probably the top 3.
Okay.
So anyhow, and then I do have a video real quick, just talking about what he's done to the economy. Catherine Rampell, she's bounced around. She was on CNN for a while. I guess she's on MSNBC now. But I found a video of her. The industry I work in is new home construction. So I've been seeing this getting worse and worse for the year, and I've been kind of shocked that it's not been talked about by the media. Here, she has a great video on it. Check this out real quick.
Between tariffs and immigration raids, Donald Trump has basically torched the U.S. construction industry. And yet it stayed pretty silent, at least until now. According to Politico, construction executives and home builders have held multiple meetings over the past month with the White House and members of Congress. They say immigration raids at job sites and in local communities are scaring off workers. And it's driving up the cost of home building when this country desperately needs more housing. Many construction executives say that they didn't expect enforcement to go quite this far, particularly in Republican strongholds like Southern Texas. Mario Guerrero, CEO of the South Texas Builders Association and a Trump voter who traveled to Washington last week, told Politico, quote, "I told lawmakers South Texas will never be red again."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like I said, I kind of hadn't heard much about it, but apparently they're speaking up now. Between the cost of lumber from Canada with the tariffs, drywall and cement coming from Mexico with the tariffs, and then the fact that workers are afraid to show up at job sites. Like, that was one of Trump's promises, that he was going to bring the cost of housing down. And
Yep.
then he said just the other day, he was like, no, I don't want to bring the cost of housing down. If I do that, everybody who owns homes, their value will go down and they'll lose money, which is true. Like there's a balance that you have to strike here. But he said what he wants to do is keep the price of houses high, which,
Yeah.
okay, that's one way to go. But
It's
that's
a horrible way to go.
That's
for
not
the
what you
American
promised. Like that's not what you promised in the campaign. You were going to make housing more affordable, and now he's realizing if I do that, all the people that most of their money is tied up in the land they own and the homes they own, they're going to lose part of that wealth.
Oh, 100%. Well, I just saw the average age because I think the last time we talked about this was probably 6 months ago, and the average age of the first home buyer was like 35,
Mm-hmm.
and it just went up to 40.
Okay, and the St. Louis Fed came out with a report today that said the U.S. housing market has reached its most unaffordable level in history. So, yeah,
It's
we're at.
crazy.
Yep.
It is crazy.
All right, so the other thing that's worth talking about right now, Trump, I'm going to say Trump, Witkoff and Jared Kushner are having a meeting with Iran leaders tomorrow. This is supposed to be a make it or break it meeting, according to everybody that knows what's going on here. If we don't come away with like some for real thoughts that they're going to agree to all of our terms, then it seems like a operation against Iran could happen very quickly after this meeting. There is a air base in Jordan. It's I'm not going to say this, the Mawafaka Salty Air Base in Jordan. I just butchered that. So this is the air base that we're going to launch our strikes out of to hit Iran.
Okay.
We have a buildup of our aircraft there. There are Israeli and American aircraft there. We only know what the American aircraft are. Apparently, there's more Israeli aircraft there than there is American at the moment. We have 4 F-15Es, the Eagles. We have 30 F-35As. That's the 5th generation stealth fighter.
That's the Maverick?
Yeah, that's I believe. No, wait. In the Maverick movie, they flew the F-18. Is that what you're talking about?
I think. Well, they call one of them the Maverick. It's probably the same one from the movie.
Yeah, possibly. They have 6 of the EA-18Gs. Those are a specialized carrier-based electronic warfare aircraft. So that seems like that would be what they used when they went into Venezuela to like disrupt all of their weapon systems, anti-aircraft. We got
Big
6 of
bomb one.
those. And then the strange thing is we have 12 A-10s. The A-10 is the Warthog. It is a precision close air support for ground troops. Like that's the kind where they come down and like they have a big Gatling gun on the
Yeah.
nose of this plane, and it's for shooting tanks and ground troops. You wouldn't have that there unless there was a potential of ground forces, like some kind of ground to ground combat, tank battles or something. That's what
Okay.
everybody's very confused as to why we have 12 A-10s there. The way that we struck them last time, everybody thought we would strike them this time, would be stealth bombers in the quiet of night, no dogfights going on. It seems like this time we're at least preparing for like air to air combat and possibly air to ground combat, which is a whole different level from what everybody thought this was going to be.
What are the chances that we go to war with them?
I'm going to say 50-50 right now. There's no telling. Because so Trump moved.
I'm going to go with 100%.
If Israel has their way, it's 100%. And
Yeah. And
Trump-
Israel always gets their way,
Dude,
especially with this administration.
Trump moved
Like
a
all
second.
administrations.
Trump moved a second carrier group into the Middle East, and now we have this is an amazing buildup here. Now I don't even want to try to count how many this is representing,
Whoa.
but we have a third of the Navy parked in 2 different seas outside of Iran, the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. We've got a third of our Navy forces dedicated to Iran, which first of all is just bad management of your assets. Like a lot of people that former Pentagon people under different administrations have said, even when we're at war with a country, like we leave carrier groups all around the world in case while we're doing this one thing, something else pops off over here. Trump's not doing that. He's putting all his eggs in one basket, and
Which leaves us vulnerable in other positions.
yes. So, which the second carrier group that just arrived came from the South China Sea, because I mean, China's obviously not going to do anything, Taiwan or whatever. I mean,
Right.
it would be smart to leave a carrier there, but he moved all his assets to Venezuela, and then we did that move, and then he sent them all back to their normal spot, and then immediately brought them all to Iran. So What's
This
weird
is
about
under Pete Hegseth,
yeah, Pete and Donald Trump are calling the shots. So
the guy who's never. I mean, I guess he was in the military, but
he
I
was,
don't
but
think
yeah.
he. What was his highest rank?
Oh, I think he was a major or something, sergeant
So he
major
went
maybe.
from major to in charge of everybody.
So normally, his position is Secretary of Defense, or sorry, Secretary of War. Now is what he is. But normally that is a civilian position. Like a lot of times we have people that have never served, or a lot of times they did serve like lower levels, but that's supposed to be a civilian position. So that's not weird. It's just that I would normally think that most of those people, if they said, "Hey, we need to move all our troops here," somebody under them, a five-star general, would probably say, "Hey, sir, that's not a good idea. This is why it's not a good idea." And the
He fired all the
president,
smart people, though.
yeah, that's the thing is, like, I don't believe Trump and Hegseth are listening to any of the generals that are left. So that's
Yeah,
what scares
do
me.
we need that much to go to war with Iran? We don't need a third of our army to go to war with Iran.
So here's the thing. If we had a good reason to go to war with Iran, then I actually like the idea of like overkill. Like Colin Powell during Desert Storm. Colin Powell had a comment or a quote about the buildup that we had in Saudi Arabia. We had so many tanks and so many troops, and he basically said, I'm a soldier. I'm not a fighter. Like I don't want to fight a fair fight. Like if I have the power to weigh what's the word? Just have more equipment than my opponent. I want to do that. Like I want to win. I want as few of my soldiers to die. I get that. So I have no like Vietnam. We famously like we went half-assed into Vietnam and we didn't want to do a surge and all that, and it led to a lot of people getting killed. So if we're gonna do it, put everybody over there and do it. But leave your carrier groups where they need to be. And also, why are we doing this? The reason that we say we're doing this is because like their nuclear arsenal. Well, Donald Trump told us 6 months ago that he completely erased their nuclear arsenal and that it's going to be, what do you say, years or decades until they could possibly rebuild again. And now they're saying, it's the nukes again. Well, dude, you said you destroyed that shit. What are we
even
doing?
like 3 weeks before he said they did the bombing, our military intelligence said that they had zero nuclear weapon capabilities.
That was Tulsi Gabbard, and that was like the last time we saw Tulsi Gabbard. She came out and she said they don't have nukes, and we have no intelligence that they're even trying to get to a nuke. And then like 3 weeks later, Trump came out and started saying that they're trying to build a nuke, and we didn't see Tulsi for a long time after that.
That's what I'm saying. Is Israel is is calling the shots. Israel wants us to go to war with Iran. We're going to go to war with Iran. Like I don't understand why they can't go fight their own battle.
And Lindsey Graham's over there right now, by the way. He's given all kinds of pressers. He said, like, the future of every battle starts in Israel. Or he said something like that. And everybody's like, yeah, that's what we don't like. Anyhow, what makes this extra scary is Iran has made it very clear that Trump wants to do a limited strike. He wants to hit them once and then it be over. That's his favorite kind. It's a show of force, but not a long war because he doesn't want to get us in one of those. So Iran has been very clear with everybody that if you hit us, we're going to do a long war. Like that's all we have left in the bag is we're going to do that. So they're making it very clear if we hit them, they're going to strike our bases in the region, this time without warning. Last time, they told us, like, hey, evacuate your troops. We're going to hit this one base. And then they did it, and it made their people think they fired back, but it was all for show. Anyhow, they're saying they're not going to do that this time. And now a bunch of Middle East countries, we're putting pressure on, America is, and like they're coming out and saying, hey, just let it be known that Iran, if you strike the American military base here, we're going to strike you. So if this plays out the way it could, we're going to strike Iran, Iran's going to strike back, and then several countries are going to strike Iran, Arab countries. But then there's a couple countries over there that are not friends with us and friends with Iran, and then they're going to, that's like, I hate to even talk like that's World War III, but like, that's a whole broader conflict. Like I'm going to use the phrase, it's a broader conflict. It's not just us versus Iran. Yeah. That's several countries versus several countries. And also, this is going to be interesting because since we did Operation Midnight Hammer and bombed their nuclear facilities, China and Russia have been giving them all their top-of-the-line air defense systems. So for the past 6 months, they've been stockpiling different weapons, and we have all of our top-of-the-line stuff. And this is going to be the first time in 40 years that we're going to really see like the top-of-the-line equipment from America versus the top-of-the-line from China and Russia. Go out and see who's got the better equipment. Like, whose missiles
but we already didn't Venezuela have the top of line Russian air defense?
They didn't have they didn't have the top of the line. Apparently, they had some stuff, but not the top of the line. So
Okay.
And the fact that China's giving Iran stuff is interesting because I got to believe whatever China has is better than what Russia has.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of wars, did you see uh there's a AI robotic company who is going to be funding Ukraine now.
Okay, I didn't see that. I've got something else on a AI company, but what do you got on that?
Go Video Humanoid.
Your business because Foundation striking a U.S. brokered agreement with Ukraine to deploy humanoid robots for surveillance, logistics, and other high-risk operations. These 5'9" phantom units capable of carrying more than 40 pounds, designed to operate in dangerous environments. That's the kind of robot I like to see because you would rather put a machine into harm's way than an individual. Sanket, tell us more about this collaboration and what's possible when you look at AI related to the military.
I think, Maria, this is one of the areas I feel like humanoids will have one of the most profound effects. There are three big use cases that we're looking at, not only with Ukraine, but also with the Department of War within the U.S. The first use case is just logistics work, so being able to move things around, supply pickup. Now in Ukraine, what happens is when soldiers leave a building to go and do supply pickup, there are drones that shoot at them. So it's better to send it's better to send humanoids out versus human soldiers because they can essentially do these tasks just fine. And if they get shot, there's less of a concern. The second kind of task that we've been asked to do is around pretty much inspection, repair, maintenance. So that is also not a weaponized task, but a task that is all the logistics work that happens behind the scenes. And the third one is that actually impacts soldiers in a big way is reconnaissance, being able to go into buildings and breach doors and actually surveil that building, make sure it's safe for soldiers to be in. And that's going to be increasingly the future of warfare, which is more and more robots. What people don't realize is we already have, compared to the Iraq War and now, we have significantly more amount of robots on the battlefield. Most of them are airborne. Some of them are landborne, but majority of them are airborne. And humanoids give you the ability to be able to become a little bit more precise about tactical things. For instance, if a target's in a building, instead of bombing the building, you can actually go through the building, navigate it, and get to the target.
So that's all very scary, but also I don't understand people are obsessed with humanoid robots. And it seems like that's the worst case design. Like even that company Boston Robotics or whatever that we always used to see the videos of, like the one that was like a four-legged creature, like a dog. Yeah. That was harder to knock down and get off its balance or whatever. The humanoid one was the least, like, in my mind, it's the worst design of them all. Like why? You have drones. You could have something with like tank tracks. I don't know. I don't get why we have an obsession with humanoid robots, but that's good. I mean, they didn't say this, but my thought would be like dress the humanoid robot in like soldier's uniform, like helmet and all that, disguise it and send it out to see if there's an ambush waiting or, something like that. That'd be use it as a decoy, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine where this is going to go. If China has robots and Russia has robots, and let's just say we go to war, it's just going to be robots versus robots. Like, what's the point?
It's going to be
what's the point in killing humans in the first place? Like, this is so stupid. This whole war thing, this whole macho bullshit where they just want to like kill innocent people to take resources?
Yeah. It's always about resources.
It's always about resources, land, resources, whatever. It's crazy. I don't know. I think the robot thing is a little terrifying to me.
One of the new Star Wars, like the prequels that came out like in the early 2000s, was the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones or something along those lines. And like that's kind of what I'm seeing right now with these like robotic wars. Also, remember there was a show that used to be on TV called was it called BattleBots or something like that?
Yeah, that was cool.
Like we already kind of have this. Why do it with hundreds of thousands of robots? Let's just China get your best robot and America get your best robot, and we'll put them in like an octagon like UFC and have them duke it out. and the winner wins the battle. Like let's just do that.
Okay, that's how we'll fight all our wars from now
We'd
on.
save a lot of money. Imagine how much money is going to be pumped into all these robots that are just because like the guy said, oh, if they get shot, no big deal. There's less of a problem there. Well, we're just going to be pumping out robots. So
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of money in that.
I've got more robot news.
Okay.
Do you want good or bad first?
Oh, go good. Hit me with the good first.
All right, go robots good.
Optimistic. I think what's going to happen is historically, we haven't really gotten rid of slavery. We've just changed that to a financial incentive. So now people are forced to work jobs that they don't like doing and do that for very minimal wage and cannot buy a house, barely can afford healthcare, barely can afford education. AI has the potential of changing all of that. It has the potential of being able to give everybody good housing, everybody good healthcare, everybody good education. And for the first time in the history of humanity, people can actually do things they enjoy doing. So that's the optimistic side of it. I do, however.
Okay, I call bullshit on everything there. All these humans are having to do jobs they don't want to do. Let's just have the robots do it. Okay, where are the humans going to get their money? And unless we start talking about universal basic income real soon, then how does this work out good for humans in the long run? Like, oh, don't worry. If you don't like doing your job, a robot will do it for you. Okay, yeah, now I'm not getting a paycheck. Like the way that guy was talking, there's plenty of other jobs. If you don't like this job, have a robot do it and go get one of the other jobs. I don't know if you've been looking, but there's not a lot of other jobs out there right now. Like there's a problem.
Right. Exactly. And
that was the good one.
Universal basic income is going to come from taxing these robotic companies who are making billions of dollars from our taxes from the government. So we pay the taxes to the government, and then they get money from the government to build these robots. Do you think they're going to want to give us back the money?
No. So the way the trajectory is heading is we're letting the billionaires pay less and less taxes as we go on. So suddenly we're going to hit them with a huge tax to fund universal basic income. I don't think so. Like I'm not optimistic about this at all. So super. That was the good video. I can't wait to see what the bad video looks
like. Yeah. Well, I'm glad Fox News is talking about this because
okay. Well, that guy's selling it to the viewers like this is a good thing, and I'll bet that everybody's like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. These robots are going to take all the bad jobs we don't want to do." No, that's fucking terrifying.
He's talking about eventually this is going to be a good thing. Now let's go to what's going to happen in the meantime.
Oh God.
Worry what this means in the short term, because in the short term, it's going to be a very disruptive change. Elon's called this, I think, a supersonic tsunami, which is probably the right thing. This is going to be an extremely disruptive change, and I think the governments are going to struggle to keep up. But I do think there's a path ahead where the future is quite exciting for humanity, and that.
Oh yeah, the governments are gonna struggle to keep up. That's like the nicest way you can say it. Like the reality of that situation is like famine. Like the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to lose their jobs and then their homes. They're going to be living on the streets, and crime is going to go through the roof. People are going to be starving. Murders are going to go up. It's all going to be the worst case scenario. And then maybe the governments will figure something out down the road after after some of us have been killed off in this hellhole.
And they're going to tax the robot companies.
Still don't think that. I still don't see that happening at all. I'll be shocked if one day, because me and you have talked about universal basic income before, and 6 years ago I didn't like the idea of it. I really didn't. Now with AI where it's at, I'm like, it's the only way forward. Like AI is going to take all these jobs. What are we going to do for money?
50% of first-time jobs.
If the rich think that like they're just going to take all our jobs and like it'll hurt us, but they'll be fine. No, that's when people start coming for the rich, like not in a peaceful way. The billionaires will be hunted. Like I hate to say that. That's why
they're all building these bunkers.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
I mean, haven't you heard about like Mark Zuckerberg's like house in Hawaii, and he's building like this like mansion underground as bunker?
Every billionaire's got a bunker somewhere, and like a lot of them are over in like New Zealand and stuff. I don't something about like if there's a nuclear war, like New Zealand is one of the safest places. It's away from where the epicenter will be of most of the bombs. Nobody's bombing Australia, so like
True.
New Zealand for some reason is a place these people like to have their bunkers. So
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe move to New Zealand, huh?
Yeah, and real quick on the topic of AI and like the military, I didn't pull enough on this. I want to do some real reading on this before we get really into it. But we talked about Anthropic last time. Anthropic is a company that developed Claude, which is an AI bot, and that's the one. They basically are responsible for Moltbook, which is the Reddit for AI agents to go and bitch about humans.
Yeah.
So Anthropic apparently is the one like center left leaning AI company. Like they're not really they're not going to the White House and kissing Trump's ass. All the rest of them are having dinner with Trump and talking about how great he is. They recently, so I'm trying to think of, so Palantir, who Peter Thiel and the other guy, I can never remember the other guy's name, but he's crazy, and I've showed you clips of him before. But they're the two like that started Palantir. The U.S. military is using Palantir, and so is DHS. But somehow Anthropic got the idea that they thought that Claude was used in the Venezuelan raid somehow, and they have a big thing where they're like, hey, you don't use our AI for hurting people. That's their big thing. Oh. So they asked Palantir, hey, was Claude used at all in this Venezuela raid? And I guess Palantir referred them to the Pentagon, and the Pentagon just said, yes, yeah, it was integral in the raid. They don't like that, and they're basically saying, hey, our deal with y'all was don't use this for basically for bad intents. Like use this for good, use it for logistics and stuff like that, moving troops and parts around, but not for actually killing people. Pete Hegseth is so pissed about this. This is from a story in Axios, but it said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is close to cutting business ties with Anthropic and designating the AI company a supply chain risk, meaning anyone who wants to do business with the U.S. military has to cut ties with the company, a senior Pentagon official told Axios. The senior official said it will be an enormous pain in the ass to go to disentangle, but we are going to make sure they pay a price for forcing our hand like this. So Anthropic just said, hey, we don't want you using it for that kind of stuff. And now they're basically going to try to kill Anthropic, because it's almost like they're going to sanction them. Like if you want to do business with the U.S., you better not be doing business with Anthropic. Anthropic will be done in a heartbeat. So,
you know what? I bet you there's other countries that will be happy to use Anthropic, like European countries and countries that actually have a moral balance in their office.
All those countries, though, do business with the U.S. And if you want to do business with the U.S., you better not be doing business with Anthropic. The U.S. has a strong hand to play here, and I don't think any European country is going to be like, okay, screw you, we're not doing anything with the U.S. anymore. We're going to partner up with Anthropic. I don't think that's going to happen. So, and everybody online is like, hold on, wait. So does this mean that ChatGPT and OpenAI and XAI and all, does this mean that they don't mind being used for killing people in war? Yeah, no, that's exactly what it means. Like, and honestly, I'm shocked that Anthropic has like a moral compass on this, because you just assume, oh yeah, like once we get a hold of this AI, we're going to use it for war. So anyhow, it's dumb to me, that Anthropic apparently told them in advance, don't use this to kill people. And then we did it anyway. And then when they called us on it and said, hey, we told you not to do this, now we're going to crush them as a company for daring to question how we're using their AI.
That's kind of crazy.
I'm
gonna delete all of my AIs and just go with Anthropic now.
Yeah, they seem like the best company. Like they want it to be used for good.
That's good. Yeah, I'm all for that. You mentioned Venezuela. You know who's getting the Venezuelan oil?
Who's getting it?
I got a video here for you.
Okay, I'm excited.
About that. Well, it turns out that Israel will be receiving its first crude oil shipment from Venezuela in decades. The last time they did so was 2009. And this is, of course, following the U.S. kidnapping of former Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro. Now, according to Bloomberg, which broke this story, the cargo is being transported to Bazan Group Israel's top crude processor, people with knowledge of the deal said, asking not to be identified because the information isn't public. Now,
of course, that makes so much sense. And I'll bet we're selling it to them for a discount. So,
yeah,
of course.
So we stole their oil, and who knows if we're selling it to them or if we're just giving it to them.
I would hope we're selling it to them. We're probably selling it to them at a discount is probably what's happening.
So we steal one country's oil, and then we're selling it or giving it to the Dark Force.
And also, they asked him just this week, like they were like, "Hey, you're still leaving the VP Delcy Rodriguez in charge of Venezuela. Like, when are you going to have elections?" And he was like, "Oh no, our relationship with her is good. They're great, you know." So he's totally fine with leaving that corrupt regime that mistreats people, and totally fine with that. This was all about the oil. It wasn't about the drugs. It wasn't about the way that the Maduro regime was treating its people. This was just about oil. Like that's the thing. That's the thing we have to take away from this. So. Yeah,
that's fucked.
It is. And hey, real quick, I forgot to talk about this. Mr. Carney, Mark Carney with Canada, while at the Munich Security Conference, they announced, and this is via an article in Politico, but it says the EU and a 12-nation Indo-Pacific bloc are opening trade talks to explore forming one of the largest global economic alliances. Multiple people with knowledge of the talks told Politico. Canada's Mark Carney is spearheading the discussions. So right now, the European Union, if they all band together, they can kind of stand up to America, but it's not, they're not equal, but they're a pretty good force. Same with all these Indo-Pacific countries. Like they're a big bloc, but if you take those two and combine them, the EU partners up with Indo-Pacific to go against America in this trade war. They suddenly have the upper hand big time. And Carney is trying to put this all together so that the one voice to fight back against America, which it should have been one voice fighting against China with America leading the way. But now we're going to have one big voice fighting against America.
We did it to ourselves. We started this trade war. It's so crazy.
Self-inflicted. And at no point when Trump was thinking of this did he think, oh, I wonder what would happen if the rest of the countries teamed up against us. Like he never thought about that, I guess. Or if he thought about it, he thought there's no way they had the balls to do it. Now they're doing it. So,
dude, when I go to the grocery store, I pretty much buy somewhat around the same things, right? Pretty close. Every time my bill goes up by like $10.
The grocery prices in particular have continued to go up. Like inflation is cooling in certain categories. Groceries is not one of them. Groceries is one of those things that we all have to buy. And there was actually, oh God, who was it? It was somebody who's a Republican in the House. And he was saying that the biggest problem is that all the Republicans in the House, Senate, and in the Trump administration and the White House, none of them do their own grocery shopping. They're all so rich that they have people that do it for them. So they're never at the register seeing, oh my God, it costs that much for only this. And he said that's the biggest problem Republicans have right now is none of the elected Republicans do their own grocery shopping. And that I'm sure that the elected Democrats probably don't also.
True.
But
they're paying attention. The fact that the Republicans just don't give a shit.
Yeah,
is a problem.
They want to say that everything's fine for Trump. Also, real quick, going all the way back to the Munich Security Conference, there was some polling that came out about AOC right before the security conference, and it turns out she is plus 81% with young voters. Unheard of numbers. Like with those numbers, she could pull a Mamdani. Like she could just go after the youth vote if she gets the young people to turn out like Mamdani did. Like she suddenly, like based off that one poll, an AOC presidency in 2028 is not far-fetched anymore. Like that, we're a long way from 2028, and she'd have to keep that up. But just the young people like AOC and they like Bernie's message. The problem is, what have I always told you the problem with AOC is?
I don't know. She's a woman?
No. That's the problem.
I mean, we can't seem to elect a woman.
Yeah, okay, you have a point.
Not that we put any like fantastic women for election, but
so AOC, when she's talking, like when Bernie's talking about the economy and the oligarchs and all that, like I believe him. He's saying it in a way where like I know he really believes this, and he's a flow of consciousness. He's telling you what he thinks.
Yeah.
When AOC does it, it's like she's reading it. or she memorized it. She doesn't sell it like she really believes it. And I can always sense that in her. She based off these good poll numbers, I'm sure somebody in her group told her, hey, you should go to Munich. Like, this would be a good chance to really put you out there on the world stage. And they had her trying to talk foreign policy. And let me just tell you, it didn't go good. Even Democrats are just like, she knows. So
she doesn't know foreign policy. She doesn't know foreign policy, or
no. And she basically, it seemed like she tried to memorize a bunch of stuff on foreign policy and go in there and spew it, but she kept getting things wrong and calling things by the wrong name. It just didn't go well.
Stick in your lane. Stick in your lane. I mean, Bernie. You never heard Bernie talk about foreign policy.
Not much. He's talking about the economy. And so that was whoever convinced her that was a good idea, not a good idea. Now, I will say, with those numbers with young people, whoever the eventual nominee is in 2028, Gavin Newsom or one of these governors, Jon Stewart would be great, but they'd be smart to bring on an AOC as a VP. Like, get that youth vote. That's, to me right now, after seeing her in the last week, like, she needs to be the VP and just talk that economic message. Find somebody to be president that does better with foreign policy than her, because right now I don't trust her with foreign policy.
She failed at foreign policy.
Yeah, it was just bad, and it wasn't like awful, but none of it was good. Like, I'm not trying to overplay how bad it was. It just wasn't good. So
yeah, hopefully she goes back and starts studying foreign policy a little bit more.
Yeah, and even like Crystal Ball on Breaking Points, who likes AOC, even heard today, she was like, this wasn't good at all. Like, it was just, you really can't even try to spin it and make it seem like she did an all right job. So just throwing that out there.
Bummer.
Yeah. So, I've only got 2 things left. You got anything else you want to get to?
Yeah, I want to bring up something that's making me mad. 2 things that are making me mad.
Let's hear it.
Have you been following this Nancy Guthrie thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over the news.
So I'm kind of at the point where it's like, hey, I'll bet people get kidnapped all the time in America. Why?
600,000 total people are reported missing yearly.
Because this is somebody famous's mom, we're seeing it's nonstop. And
that's what's pissing me off. It's like, we don't do this for anybody else except for it's a famous person's mother or whatever.
Which the Fox News viewers have been upset about it. Like, Fox News has been getting like hate mail and stuff because they're covering Guthrie so much. If they're doing it, everybody's covering it too much. CNN and MSNBC are giving it a lot of airtime, but Fox is covering it nonstop because that way they don't have to talk about like Epstein and stuff. So they're just sticking with that story, and their viewers are starting to get pissed about it, which is kind of funny.
Good. That's making me mad. And then also, there was a new study out. Humans are ruining everything, Andy. We're ruining everything.
Dolphins are now showing Alzheimer's as ocean pollution is changing their brains forever. That's sad. Weren't dolphins like highly intelligent?
They are, yeah. Probably one of the most intelligent creatures on Earth. Maybe more intelligent than us.
And we're giving them Alzheimer's from pollution.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, and do you think Alzheimer's is probably the reason we have Alzheimer's is because of our pollution and the shit that we eat?
So I've heard that there is certain genes that they've isolated that are like the Alzheimer's gene, and they can spot it. They can tell now based off something if you're going to be more predisposed to Alzheimer's based off something in your gene sequencing. I don't know enough about this to talk about it, but I've heard that before. So now, could it be a variety of factors? Could you be predisposed to it based off your genes and also the food that you eat or the pollution, whatever? It could be a lot of things, but I have heard that as far as the genes. I don't know if that's true or not. I've just heard it.
Okay. I've got one more thing, but I want to wait until the end.
Okay. This is 2 dumb things, but I saved them for the end, so humor me on this. Well, we were talking earlier about how the Dow hit 50,000. Remember last episode, she was like, nobody expected this. And I was like, no, everybody thought it was going to hit 50. Like, this isn't shocking. We knew we were going to get there. Justin Wolfers, I've played many videos of him over the years. But he had this that was interesting. The Dow was at 43,488 when Trump took office. It just hit 50,000. So if you had invested $43,488 in the U.S., you would now have 50,000. But if you had invested the same amount in the rest of the world, you'd now be worth 60,000.
Wow.
The American stock market is underperforming the top 25 stock markets in the world. We're number 23 out of 25. So the other 23 have done better than us during Trump's term. Their stock market has grown even more. So
interesting.
Just throwing that out there. So when Trump and Bondi and everybody tries to talk about, oh, we hit 50,000. We're doing better than the rest of the world. No, we're not. We're actually 23rd in the list. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts a little bit.
It hurts, but it's true. The other dumb thing, real quick. Trump had a tweet today that I didn't understand what was going on at first, and because I have to look into all this shit, I did some homework on it. But this is a long Trump tweet. Bear with me. Trump said, "There is a massive ecological disaster unfolding in the Potomac River as a result of gross mismanagement of local Democratic leaders, particularly Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. A sewer line breach in Maryland has caused millions of gallons of raw sewage to be dumped directly into the Potomac River as a result of incompetent local and state management of the essential waste management systems. This is the same governor who cannot rebuild a bridge. It is clear local authorities cannot adequately handle this calamity. Therefore, I am directing federal authorities to immediately provide all necessary management direction and coordination to protect the Potomac, the water supply in the capital region, and our treasured national resources in the nation's capital city. While state and local authorities have failed to request needed emergency help, I cannot allow incompetent local leadership to ruin the river in the heart of Washington into a disaster zone. We saw it in the Palisades. The Democrat war on merit has real consequences. The federal government has no choice but to step in. FEMA, which is currently being defunded by Democrats, will play a role in coordinating the response. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump." There's
Holy shit! He defunded FEMA.
There's a lot to unpack there. So yes, he basically canceled out the FEMA budget in the last budget. Now FEMA is a part of DHS, which is currently shut down because of the whole wanting ICE to not wear masks and wear body cams and all that stuff. But he basically zeroed out the FEMA budget. So yes, they're under DHS, but he wasn't putting money into that anyway. But I was looking at this, and so Wes Moore is the governor of Maryland, and he is a 2028 presidential hopeful. Okay, black guy, well-spoken. Seems like he's going to be in the running. Trump singles him out a lot as if Trump is afraid of. You know how he always goes after his, like, whoever the highest on the other side is, the one that causes him the most danger. He goes after that person first. He's really focused on Wes Moore, which is interesting. So I was like, oh, wow, this seems bad. If this is true, millions of gallons of sewage is being dumped directly into the Potomac. There's been a sewer break that's been going on for a week, and the state's not doing anything about it.
I haven't seen it on the news at all.
Haven't seen it either, but doesn't that seem like a bad deal if that's true?
Horrible.
Okay, so this came out this afternoon at about 2:00. I saw it this evening. I started looking through it, and it turns out that waterway that he's talking about is actually it's the national government's job to take care of. Like, it's been that way for a long time. Governor Wes Moore responded this evening. This is a little long again. Bear with me. But here is Wes Moore's response. "The president has his facts wrong again. Since the last century, the federal government has been responsible for the Potomac Interceptor, which is the origin of the sewage leak. For the last 4 weeks, the Trump administration has failed to act, shirking its responsibility and putting people's health at risk. Notably, the president's own EPA explicitly refused to participate in the major legislative hearing about the cleanup last Friday. Apparently, the Trump administration hadn't gotten the memo that they're actually supposed to be in charge here. Where the president has failed to act, Maryland has played its part to protect residents, protect drinking water, and ensure accountability. Maryland officials were on site within hours of the leak to do our part to coordinate the response and ensure that the public was aware and protected. If the federal government is just now showing up to take action, we will work collaboratively, as we always do, to be responsive and keep the public informed about the federal government's plan to remediate the damage. The Potomac isn't a talking point, and the people of the region deserve serious leadership that meets the moment." I fact-checked that, and it appears that's all true. So Trump is blaming Wes Moore for not handling this when the federal government is the one that's in charge of what's called the Potomac Interceptor. So they had a legislative hearing on it last week and invited the EPA, and the EPA didn't show up. This is their responsibility.
The EPA is a nightmare.
It is.
Under Trump. Oh, my gosh.
So anyhow, I just thought that was interesting. It reminded me of when the fires were happening in California and Trump like demanded that they turn on the water from the reservoirs.
Yeah.
And
Let the water flow.
That water never made it to downtown LA. That water was to go to the farms in like the Central Valley district and apparently messed with their crops because he released all that water when they were gonna need it later in the summer, but he released it early and he just like took a victory lap and he was like, "Yep, I turned on the water and the fire stopped." And it's like, no, they had nothing to do with each other. And everybody in California, including the Army Corps of Engineers, was trying to tell him, "Sir, don't release this water. It's not even going to get to LA." But he did it anyway. And he keeps talking about it like that was what saved Los Angeles from the fires. And it's not. Even though he's clearly wrong on this, I guarantee you for the next couple of years, he's going to use this as an attack on Westmore of Maryland and try to be like, "Oh, remember when the sewage hit and they didn't do anything and we had to step in?" No, it's their responsibility. They're the ones that should have stepped in from the start. It bothers me because I know that Fox News viewers are never going to hear the other side of this. They're just going to see what Trump said and they're going to think, "Oh man, it's a good thing Trump stepped in to bail out Maryland because their governor is so awful."
Yeah,
drives me insane.
What a nightmare. Huh.
Yep, that's all I got for tonight. What's your last thing?
Okay, hold on one second. I'll be right back.
All right.
USA, USA, USA. Yeah, baby, I've changed my hat.
Oh, what do you got there?
Talk a little Olympics here. It's my
okay.
My ski team hat.
I like it.
Thanks. Here, I'm going to share this screenshot with you here. Let's see. All right. You see that?
Yeah. What are we third in the medal count?
We're third in the medal count right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking good. This is looking good. Norway, obviously Norway's going to do well in the Winter Olympics, right?
Yeah.
And Italy, this is their home turf. I'd imagine they're going to do pretty well.
Okay.
We got Netherlands right behind us and Austria coming up. If Austria wins one more gold, they're going to pop up into the Netherlands. They're going to be right on our tails. So,
okay.
I don't know. I'm pretty stoked about it. You've been following the Olympics a little bit?
You know, I did for like the first 3 or 4 days, and then I got sidetracked, and I haven't been on it as much as normal. Plus, the last Olympics, my kid was like 9 when it happened, and she was very into like watching America versus the world. And this time, I got like excited, and I was like, "Hey, the Olympics are starting," and she doesn't give a shit. So I tried to get her to sit down with me and watch some of it, and she does. She wants to go upstairs and play on her phone and computer, and so I'm just like, so the fact that she doesn't want to watch it anymore, I'm over it. So
yeah, that's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
Well, curling is actually getting pretty exciting. There was forget who it was, but Canada and
cheating going on, right?
What?
Some cheating going on, right?
Canada and Sweden. I don't know. I never heard what the final ruling was, but they touched the granite. Like he had the touch of God or something.
So I'll say this: it's very clear that they did break the rules. Like once you release the handle, you can't touch it anymore. And he released the handle and then kind of followed it with his hand and gave it a little flick, just a little finger. And there's a video of the other team was like calling him out, and he's like, "I didn't cheat. I didn't. If you pull it up on tape, I didn't cheat." And then you look at the tape, and he clearly did break the rules there. And then the female team for Canada did the exact same thing like the next day. So yeah, cheaters.
Okay. Yeah, Canada got heated. Canada said, you could go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And so there is no video replay in the Olympics either. So if it didn't get called at the time, then there's no mechanism to go back and take away their medal or anything like that. So
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And did you see the Minnesota curler start talking trash?
So I saw him like during the opening, like was that last weekend, where he was saying he's from Minneapolis, and he was not saying good things about ICE and the way the Border Patrol is operating. I saw that, yeah.
Well, I got the video, but we don't have to show it. But
no, we never played it on the show, so let's check it out.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm proud to be here to represent Team USA and to represent our country. But we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention what's going on in Minnesota and what a tough time it's been for everybody. This stuff is happening right around where we live. And what's happening in Minnesota is wrong. There's no shades of gray. It's clear. What the Olympics means is excellence, respect, friendship. And we all, I think, exemplify that. And we are playing for the people of Minnesota and the people around the country who share those same values, that compassion, that love, and that respect.
So he said that right around the same. It was like within 24 hours, there was that skier named Hunter Hess, who for some reason Trump and like a lot of MAGA influence really zeroed in on him and decided he was the enemy. But Hunter Hess said something. There was a figure skater, as a blonde girl that said something, and then that curler. Those were kind of the big three that you kept seeing. And for whatever reason, they went after the other two, and they didn't go after that guy. And maybe it's because he's a white male. For whatever reason, they didn't really make a spectacle out of him. But the girl made a comment about like queer people and how it's a tough time for queer people in America right now, and they jumped on her. And Hunter Hess never, we talked about it last time, and he didn't really say anything that bad, and they jumped all over his ass.
Yeah, the Minnesota curler has an interesting background. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he's like 54 or something, and he I think somebody died in his family recently. That might be why they're not going after him.
Maybe.
Oldest U.S. Winter Olympian.
I mean, I would think he's fair game, but for whatever reason, they didn't make a big deal out of him.
Yeah, interesting.
So, oh, well, we only got like a week left of the Olympics, and then we can stop talking about rooting against Americans. That's the strangest thing to me, that like Megyn Kelly led like a revolt where it's like, we're rooting against certain Americans in the Olympics. And Trump, again, this was just yesterday or today, but he made it a point to say, and he was talking about the Olympics, and then he brought it to at the Munich Security Conference because Gavin Newsom was over there and AOC, and he was like, yeah, you don't go on foreign soil and talk bad about America. You just don't do that. And again, there's clip after clip after clip of him going around the world talking crap about America.
Trump going around the world talking about Trump.
But it's like Trump's allowed to do it, but nobody else is allowed to do it. So that's the rule apparently.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, go USA. I'm all for rooting for the USA in the Olympics. Let's do this. Let's get some more medals.
I like it. All right, you got anything else, buddy?
That's it.
All right, love you, buddy. Talk to you later.
Love you. Peace.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.